Hey, so you might notice that I got a new championship title here, which I kind of got into the hobby of making new championship titles. Well, this one's not complete yet, as you can see, like a lot of the design in the middle is not there, and there's no side plates or whatnot. But yeah, I kind of got into the hobby of making new ones, and this is the new one that I'm gonna be carrying for the foreseeable future. But the basic thing I want to talk about in this video is, well, a few days ago, Neversoft, the developer Neversoft, is no longer a thing. And they basically got merged into Infinity Ward to work on Call of Duty stuff at Activision. And I kind of just wanted to talk about just them and their history and my attachment to their games, because, well, at least I guess the first thing that comes to mind is at least they went out in kind of a more graceful fashion than a lot of developers usually go out, because there wasn't any like massive layoffs that happened. They all actually, or for the most part at least, as far as I know, still have their jobs and they're still working, but they're just working on different games. I grew up really, really loving their games. Like my attachment to like the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, and they made a great Spider-Man game on PS1 as well. And then when they transitioned over to Guitar Hero and the Guitar Hero 3 and Guitar Hero Metallica were both great, except that there was also a lot of weird Guitar Hero games in between that just basically what I'm saying here is they had a lot of great games. And they had a lot of great games a long time ago, and I kind of feel like, you know, I guess it was time to gracefully move on from Neversoft. I feel like they're specifically of an era, and of an era that I love, but I think it was time for them to move on. Though there is something that kind of bothers me. So like the Tony Hawk games kind of got like a very repetitive and the very samey over and over and over again across like 8, 9, 10 different games, and then they switched the developers when it came to, was it Tony Hawk Shred and Tony Hawk Ride, like the one with like the controller that was basically a skateboard on the ground without wheels, and they switched developers for that. And when it came back to them making Tony Hawk HD, which came out in 2012, the last time Neversoft had done something was in 2010, the last Guitar Hero game they made, I believe. But then they still kept on a different developer for Tony Hawk HD. The same developer that made arguably the two worst Tony Hawk games in that entire series. And they kept on that same other developer instead of bringing on Neversoft, the guys that actually made the great Tony Hawk games. So that always bothered me, that always confused me, especially since 2010, Neversoft hadn't made anything, and you had 2011 go by, 2012 go by. You know, Neversoft wasn't actually doing anything in that time, except maybe making some Call of Duty stuff, I don't know, but they weren't really doing anything during that time that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD was made. And then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD comes out, and it's not as good as it should have been. I mean, it's close to what it should be, but just like the small distance of what it is versus like where it should have been basically throws off the overall feel of that game. And I feel like, why didn't they just give that game to Neversoft? That could have been Neversoft's like last big thing of, you know what, if they wanted to bring the prominence back of that for that series, they should have given it back to them. But either way, I have a strong connection with those games. And you know what, that's why this week I'll probably throw up a Let's Play of the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, because I love that game, and I played it a lot recently, and I was like, you know what, I want to do a video of this. So you know what, this week, I'm doing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.